Hi guys, I'm excited today because we're gonna talk to my good friend Alen Poropat. We used to work together in Shanghai in Raffle.
Alan is a native of Croatia and he studied his bachelor's degree in fashion design in University of Leeds in the UK. And after that, he worked as a fashion design lecturer in Shanghai for 5 years. And now he's back in Croatia. He has been teaching fashion design as well. And at the same time, he's doing his own collection. The most recent ones we've seen is the Ocean Blues and the Garden Extravaganza.
So anyway, we will learn a lot from Alen today, so I can't wait. I hope you enjoyed this video.
Bonjour tout le monde. We are here today to interview Mr. Alen Poropat. Hi, Alen. How are you
Hi,
today?
Hi, Maris. Great to hear you after a long time.
Yes. I'm in such a high position right now. I'm in a high chair. Because I know you will be taller. So how are you today? Everything okay?
Yeah, it's fine. The day is perfect. I was relaxing and doing some work earlier, so I'm ready for our small chat.
Yes, okay. So let's get right to it. So my first question is, how do you start your design process when you're creating a collection?
Right. If I'm doing a small collection or just a project, the process is nearly every time the same. So I would usually write something in my sketchbook, or I would get an idea if I go out for the walk, and I would develop this idea in writing first, and later I will start making small sketches and small scribbles in the sketchbook, finding the materials. And from there, I would get the idea about the fabric, colors, some silhouettes. I would start the design process.
Okay. How do you decide on a theme or something? Does it come later?
Oh, this is actually the first thing I get. Sometimes I get it from the paintings, if I'm making the paintings, or it can be just some little notion that I see. It can be architecture. Actually, it's something that catches my mind at that moment or during the period of, let's say, a few weeks. I never know what will be the real idea, but of course, this idea I can change.
Yes.
During the process as well.
Okay.
Or develop, let's say.
Yes. And because in the introduction we showed some of your work, now we would like to know which of your designs is like your favorite. And
I think my favorite ones are the difficult ones.
Why?
Because when something is more difficult, to put more effort in it,
okay.
and I'm not sure what will be the result. So quite often I like to see some surprises. So usually I work on the dress form through draping, and I change the ideas from the first or the initial sketch. Okay. So kind of I have the general silhouettes, but I like to change it during the whole process as well.
Is there a particular piece that you would like to mention?
I quite like the dress. Maybe I'm not sure if I put the picture, I sent it to you, but actually I was making a painting, like the last collection, the summer collection I was making. From the painting, I made a dress. It's a very simple tunic. It's not difficult to make, but I wanted to have a wearable art. So from the painting, I went back to the dress. So, and a couple of times I did also, I like where I have a lot of like embroidery if I work on, or some kind of more texture in the fabric. So the fabric can be quite based. Okay. Cotton, silks, or usually I use the dead stock fabric. So I'm not using the fabric from the big manufacturers.
Okay.
And
so
all the collection is actually most of the time in a few pieces, just a few sizes. And yes. I don't prefer anymore to make bigger collections or bigger anything. I could keep it quite small because I wanted to have it for a specific person to be more tailor-made.
Okay. So it's more special that way. So it means you just make one or two pieces per design. Is that it?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Now, this one, for you, in your experience, what is the most difficult part of being a fashion designer?
Oh, I think that while you are creating and you are in the whole this creative process, you are in your own world, right? But the
Yes.
most difficult part is like when it comes to sales, when it comes to marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I find that a little bit more difficult, and actually it's good to have a helping hand, let's say, from someone who is more into that business.
Okay.
So I like creativity, design, probably like most of designers or people in, let's say, in the creative world.
Yeah.
And this work after selling is a bit more difficult.
So would you rather that somebody else handled it for you than you doing it yourself?
Well, I can give some, let's say, not instructions, but the way how I see it, where I would like to study, but to have a person that is more experienced in that field.
Yeah, actually, it's not that easy to do the marketing. Okay. And
So, I mean, life teaches you as well.
yes, exactly. Very wise words.
Well,
So, is there something that you knew now after all these years that you wish you had known, like maybe from the beginning or when you were starting in the fashion industry?
well, probably at the beginning, I thought it's really fun and it's easy. And actually, it is fun while you're making. It's not that easy. It's not so lavish. It's not a red carpet. Definitely, it's the work where you have to be a bit more stubborn. You have to have the stamina to work.
Yes.
And to put more than 150% of yourself into it, if you want to probably be successful and make business out of it, from it.
Can you just elaborate on that stubborn part? Like, what do you mean?
Well, you have to stick to your idea, of course.
Okay.
I would say also, I wished maybe the young designers should have more industry experience, so working in different projects, working in different areas, in the industry of the fashion or that is related, so they can get the knowledge of it a bit better than when they are just starting on their own. So first few years of experience and then start if you want to work on your own or make your own label.
That's very good. And then, well, Alan, you've taught in Shanghai. You know, we work together there.
Right. Yeah.
And then you've also taught in Croatia. So, what would be your advice for young designers, like who wants to be a fashion designer?
I think they probably have to have this broad, not experience, but also opinions. They should work on their talent. The talent is just the beginning of everything, but then after that, it's probably the work they do. So they have to put a lot of effort and think that it's not just 100 meters run, it's more like a marathon. I don't want to discourage them, but you know, they have to be ready for the real life.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
While they're studying, they should try to do more different projects with maybe the company projects as well, and try different things from embroidery, from pattern cutting, from digital world, let's say like digital illustrations and so on, because they never know in which field they will continue after they graduate.
Yeah, actually, that's why I like talking to people like you know, because, you know, you've been to different stages in life and in the industry. So, you know, you can advise better, like what to get started. And I'm just curious, can you compare like your experience teaching in China and in Croatia? Like, is there some difference, some similarities, like anything you'd like to share?
Well, probably one difference for me was because I was studying in the UK, and I was always before this teaching in English language. So there was a little bit different and difficult maybe to teach in your own language.
Yeah.
And with phrases and things. Students are similar. I wouldn't say that they are so much different. You know, always if somebody is very much into fashion, they will give this 100%. Somebody who is not, they will be like more not so much ongoing, or they will wait for you to do work for them. So, I mean, to show them a bit more. So it's really depends, but I think this talent and the wish to do it is the most important for the students if they are working on it.
Yeah,
so
because
it's not just enrolling into the school, it's their work, the process, the projects they do. And when you see that the students have, well, some of our, let's say, ex-students are now quite successful designers. So, and this is because they were 100% in this.
Okay, it's just exciting because you've seen two different worlds and like you get to compare. So I'm really just curious about this.
Yeah.
And anyway, okay, now we're towards the last part of our interview. Can you share something about Croatia that you find inspiring? Like, I don't know, maybe some fashion trivia or fashion information that a lot of people probably don't know.
Well, in menswear fashion, we wear ties, right? And the tie, the necktie is actually originated from Croatia. That used to be worn during the Louis XIV. He accepted this as the fashionable item, and he started to wearing it in France, and later on became popular within the French nobility. And that's how it entered the fashion within the France and within the Europe under the name Le Cravate, because French people were Croats in French art, with Le Cravate.
That would be so interesting to hear. I mean, from the ones in France, you know. And by the way, how do you call necktie in Croatian language?
Cravata.
Cravata. Oh, okay. Because in French it's cravat. Okay. English, totally unrelated, necktie.
Yeah.
But it's so beautiful to hear cravat and cravata, you know. Okay.
And like Dalmatians are also from Dalmatia.
Okay. I didn't know. I didn't know that. Now we learned something from Croatia. From Croatia. And
I mean, there's a lot of little surprises from this region, definitely.
Yes, for sure.
History.
And it's interesting to know. And thank you for sharing with us. By the way,
it's okay.
Alan,
thank you for having me.
You're welcome. How to say? So, is there anything like we would you would look forward for you? I mean, from you, like social media or something, any projects coming up?
I have Instagram account. I'm about to work on my new website account as well.
Okay, we will share it in the description.
Then I also work on the new projects that are related to teaching and art and creativity. And I'm planning some more, like doing print designs for the new collection, or just like for prints for t-shirts and hoodies, things like that. Maybe more casual way of one part of the collection will be.
Okay.
In the near future. Very close.
Okay. Anyway, we would look forward to that, and of course, we will link it to this video. Thank you very much, Alan, for your time.
Thank you, Maris. It was great seeing you again.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope
you.
Big success to your YouTube channel.
Oh, thank you. For me, I would just like to share some really cool people like you, of course. So thank you, Alan.
I'm sure. Thank you. Thank you for her. Bye-bye.